Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're diving into a crucial topic that impacts literally millions of Americans, but, it just doesn't get the spotlight it deserves: urban accessibility. Where you live or travel can completely dictate your quality of life, your independence, the whole shebang. So today, we're going to explore the best American cities for wheelchair accessibility. We've got some incredible data to unpack to figure out exactly which cities are leading the charge in inclusive design and, well, which ones are kind of falling behind.
Okay, let's dive into this. 12.1%. According to Forbes Health data, that is the proportion of U.S. adults living with a mobility disability. Think about that for a second. That means more than 1 in 10 adults experiences the world in a way that requires thoughtful, accessible infrastructure. If you're part of this demographic, or maybe you have a loved one who is, you know firsthand that the physical layout of a city isn't just some aesthetic choice. It's an absolute necessity for your overall well-being.
So what makes a city truly accessible? It's a huge question, and it goes way, way beyond the bare minimum of ADA compliance. It's not just about having a ramp here or there, it's about how easy it is to find a wheelchair-friendly apartment. It's about taking the subway without that constant anxiety of wondering if the elevator is broken today. It's access to affordable healthcare, paved nature trails, and just being able to go to a restaurant where you don't have to navigate impossible steps just to grab a meal. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the state of accessibility. Then, the best cities to call home. After that, we'll check out the kings of public transit. Next up, wheelchair-friendly vacation destinations. And finally, cities needing major improvements. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The state of accessibility, focusing on demographics and realities.
Now, what's really interesting about this information is the sheer volume of this community. It's absolutely striking. This data comes directly from the official 2026 Disability Statistics Compendium, which is funded by the National Institute on Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research. In 2024, there were 45.7 million civilians living in the community with disabilities in the U.S. That's a massive number. And within that group, over 8.5 million individuals between the ages of 18 to 64 have an ambulatory disability, meaning they face mobility challenges on a daily basis.
But when we look closer, the data reveals a very stark economic reality right alongside those demographics. Check this out. 28.7% of individuals with ambulatory disabilities live in poverty. Compare that to just 10.4% of individuals without ambulatory disabilities. It's a huge gap. This difference hits the nail on the head as to why economic accessibility in a city, things like cost of living, housing affordability, and healthcare costs, is just as vital as physical accessibility. I mean, a city with perfect physical ramps everywhere is great, but if folks literally can't afford to live there, it's not truly accessible.
Moving on to Section 2, best cities to call home, looking closely at livability and healthcare.
And this brilliantly illustrates how different sources measure accessibility in completely different ways. WalletHub's analysis leans super heavily on economy and healthcare. For example, they highlight cities like Scottsdale, Arizona, where the average doctor's visit is a remarkably low $99. Not bad, right? But then Forbes Health takes a totally different approach. They look heavily at physical infrastructure. So they put Honolulu, Hawaii at the very top because it boasts an incredibly high percentage of wheelchair-accessible rental properties, nearly 31%. And Irving, Texas comes in strong too, thanks to a huge number of new buildings constructed since 2010.
But there is one city that consistently dominates across all these different studies: Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is an absolute powerhouse for accessibility. It actually ranks #1 in WalletHub's healthcare ranking, with average monthly health insurance premiums sitting at just $355. But it doesn't stop at affordability. It's the 26th best city for wheelchair-accessible grocery stores, and over a quarter of homes for sale are accessible. Plus, get this, nearly 98% of residents live within half a mile of a park, and it has some of the absolute best wheelchair-accessible trails in the entire country.
All right, Section 3, the kings of public transit, all about getting around. When we look at transit scores, Washington, D.C. and Seattle set the absolute gold standard. D.C. has a staggering transit score of 68.7. Why? Well, because its metro rail system essentially guarantees accessible travel. They've got elevators and priority seating across all 91 stations, and that's combined with a totally wheelchair-friendly metro bus system. Seattle is right behind them with a score of 59.6, boasting fully accessible King County Metro buses and Link Light Rail with low floorboarding. Seattle even utilizes cool resources like Access Map, so users can actually plan routes that completely avoid steep inclines. A real game changer. Let's see how this builds across other major hubs in America too. Chicago CTA is a titan in this space.
They operate a robust network with over 100 wheelchair-accessible train stations spanning 224 miles of track. Over on the West Coast, San Francisco guarantees fully accessible travel on both BART and Muni buses. And actually, even their historic cable cars cater to passengers with mobility challenges, which is awesome. Out in Denver, the RTD doesn't just have a fully accessible fleet, they provide specialized training for operators and run an incredible Access-a-Ride program offering full curb-to-curb services.
Section 4. Wheelchair-friendly vacation destinations. The U.S. is home to some incredible destinations that have really prioritized inclusive tourism. Orlando is the undisputed theme park capital, right? And Walt Disney World leads the charge there with its Disability Access service, which allows guests to schedule return times for attractions without waiting in standard queues. If you want a bit more glitz, Las Vegas is surprisingly accessible. The 4-mile strip features flat, wide sidewalks, and all those pedestrian bridges are entirely connected by elevators. Or, if you prefer the sunshine, San Diego's 1,200-acre Balboa Park has stunning, flat paved walkways, and its world-famous zoo offers complimentary shuttle buses equipped with lifts.
So the crucial point here is that navigating these spaces often comes down to shared, lived experiences. Take it from Jim Parsons, better known as Wheelchair Jimmy. After 50 years of traveling in a wheelchair, he just got tired of the guesswork, so he created his own rating system and has reviewed over 4,000 listings of hotels, restaurants, and attractions. His stated purpose is to let people know what works and, more importantly, what to avoid. It's tools and passionate advocates like this that make planning these vacations infinitely less stressful.
Now, for Section 5, cities needing major improvements, focusing on the bottom rankings. Let's impartially contrast the data here to see the other side of the coin. We already saw that Minneapolis shines with roughly 26% of its rentals being accessible, plus top-tier green spaces. Now contrast that with Fresno, California. Fresno actually ranks dead last in the Forbes Health Study. It has the 4th lowest number of wheelchair-accessible grocery stores per capita and the 6th lowest number of accessible rental properties. Then look at Lubbock, Texas, which comes in second to last. It's heavily burdened by the 7th worst public transit system. And honestly, even major hubs like New York City struggle. Because it's so incredibly dense with older historical buildings, New York actually has the lowest number of wheelchair-accessible rental properties in the entire dataset.
So, what does this all mean for you? We want to empower you to use this data to your advantage when you're planning your next trip or even a big move. The research highlights a few key steps. Number 1, always call ahead. Whether it's setting up Disney's DAS program or just confirming that a hotel actually has roll-in showers, early communication is key. Number 2, take advantage of rentals. Cities like San Francisco and San Diego offer beach wheelchairs you can rent for outdoor adventures. And 3, use modern apps. Forbes highly recommends checking out AllTrails, which actively lists accessible nature paths, making it easier than ever to get out and enjoy the outdoors. I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over. Look at your own community through the lens we've used today. How accessible is your hometown? Are the sidewalks wide and flat? Can everyone easily use your local transit? And most importantly, if the answer is no, what can you do to advocate for change? Because accessibility benefits absolutely everyone, and awareness is that crucial first step toward building a more inclusive world. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you leave today feeling both informed and inspired.